Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today I want to talk to you about what you want to talk about, what monopolized the comments on Sunday's news, and I'm able to take in all this information, put it all back out in this video. We can make a discussion here about Fanstoys doing a Sovereign 2.0 with the FT59, but it's way more than just this one figure. It's the bot blocking they've been doing. It's all the other 2.0s. It's what they could have done instead. It's what they're going to put on hold. It's what's not going to be delivered in time. Maybe. Maybe not. So it's a lot of discussions here. But we're going to get into talking about all of this stuff. And then I'm actually going to do a little bit of side-by-side comparison. And then I'm going to talk about the people who disagree with me. So it's always fun to talk to like-minded people that agree with you. And we see the same points, maybe from a little bit different angle, but people that completely disagree have a voice, and I'm going to throw that one in there too, because that's valid also. We'll talk about this and more, and all of this coming up. So the earliest that I have seen a rivalry between Fanstoys and X-Transbots was with Quietus. And there might have been more stuff earlier than that. But prior to this, it really felt like each company was doing their own thing, and they were picking a character and running with it. But once you've made a handful of characters, it's inevitable that you're going to have some overlap of characters. But this felt too similar. The transformation is extremely similar. It's almost like Fanstoys got their hands on Elagos from X-Transbot and said, well, we're just going to copy most of the engineering, change a little bit up, but make the panels thinner and make our whole figure thinner and make it sleeker, because there's so many similarities between these that it's just eerie. It's odd. Now people tell me, no, there's only one way to transform a Cyclonus. Well, I'm sure there's more than 9 ways to skin a cat right here. They can do Cliff Jumper 5 or 6 different ways, but this is the beginning. Now I also want to point out this too. So Fanstoys likes to bot block X-Transbot, mess with X-Transbots. But the designers that actually designed Quietus or had involvement in designing Quietus and Thomas and Lupus, they left on their own. Fanstoys didn't do a 2.0 to block them, right? See? I mean, that's a point that it's more of a X-Transbots thing. All right, stick to the list, Mike. Next, we're into Spindrift. Spindrift 1.0 on the left there was not a bad figure. It's not a bad bot. It's just not a good Sea Spray. I've said this a bunch of times. We don't need to go over it that much, but then they made a 2.0. Making a 2.0 is an admission that the first one was a fail. And a lot of people argue this point with me. So if anybody were having a direct line of communication with Fanstoys, and you asked, you said, do you consider 1.0 a fail at a Sea Spray? That's why you made the 2.0. And they would probably give a response something along the lines that they knew they could do better, so they did do better. And that would probably be the response they got. But yeah, somewhere in there would be an admission of failure. And I bet you if they're just super honest, they just say, yeah, we failed on that one. And then a lot of this had to do with the X-Transbots. Now, if X-Transbots never came out with this Neptune, and the Neptune didn't absolutely annihilate their Spindrift, then, well, they probably would have never made a 2.0. I mean, in all reality, they probably would never have wasted the time with the 2.0. And I will say this, even though I like the X-Transbots more, the Fanstoys 2.0 is still good. Fanstoys is absolutely killing it when it comes to the mini-bots, which is why, where are more mini-bot announcements? So when we enter into Tesla, Tesla 1.0 was the best looking Perceptor on the market. It was the only thing that could have rivaled it, maybe, was the G1, but it was still maybe even a slight upgrade from the G1. But it wasn't a great figure, and it did have a lot of breakage issues. So we knew, and I knew a 2.0 was going to come down the road. Not a 2.0 from Fanstoys, but maybe an X-Transbots make one, MMC make, well, they might have already made one, or Takara, the almighty Takara, make one. And with this, we ended up in this situation right here. Now, I want to point out, I sold my Tesla. I actually had 2. I had one in a box and one open. And I sold them both. When their prices went through the roof, people were paying way more then I would have paid for it. I let them have mine because I had a gut feeling this would happen. That's why I went in on both. So because I freed that, I had money for this. And with it, I think X-Transbots did a decent job. They did a good job. Tesla for 2.0, I still think slightly better. I like it just a little bit better. It's the color, the hue, the way the paint looks and all that kind of stuff. And it's a little bit slimmer, but still, either one on my shelf would have fully satisfied me forever. I'd have been fine. Now, if people did not get the Jansen 1.0, it came with a bunch of minifigures. I don't have a picture of that one, but they came with a bunch of minifigures. You're not getting those again in any of these reissues that X-Transbots is doing. The other thing with Tesla 2.0 is it's also an admission that the first one failed. But the story behind it is that the mold broke. But if you got bot blocked by Fanstoys and you're like, man, I would have liked to have gotten those minifigures, that ship has sailed and it's too late for that. Now, if I spent the whole day, I could probably find 20 examples where there was bot blocking going on. But what I want to get into is the modern bot blocking. So instead of looking at the past, let's look to the future. And I'm glad we're getting better versions of Ratchet and Ironhide. I did not like Takara. In fact, it's one of those things where I didn't buy it right away. And finally, I just got a cheap KO so I could just have one. And I was like, well, man, no one's ever going to make it, I guess. But these are decent looking ones, but I've got the X-Transbots ones, and I think they're fine. Are they perfect? No. Are these perfect? No. But, you know, you've got the Fanstoys bot blocking X-Transbot under fantastic model name because they're still worried about something happening from Takara. That's why they use that name. But anyhow, this is one of those classic bot blocks. They're giving us these, which I'm grateful for. I'm happy for it. But why right now? Why not a few years down the line once they've fulfilled many of these promises that they still haven't filled? Next one's the Ultra Magnus. Now, this is supposed to be coming out this month or December. Some should have this by the end of the year. They're going up against X-Transbots with the Ultra Magnus. And this one is interesting. It's a little bit different, though. You see, they're doing the different take on it with a bot inside of armor. And I believe the community is a 50% split. And it's almost even. It's like 49.999 to 50.0001, something along those lines, of a split between the community on whether you want an all-in-one transformation that turns from the truck mode into the bot, or you want a bot inside armor. So, I mean, there are so many people split on this. In fact, to the point that Magic Square made theirs and people hate it. I like it. Mine's fine. I haven't had a problem with it since I've assembled it. Assembling it's fiddly, but the Magic Square and the Legends. But looking at this, like side by side, I still think X-Transbots did a good job. And X-Transbots has got a slimmer waistline to it, a slimmer, more aesthetic to it than what Fanstoys can deliver because it's not a bot inside of armor. But I still think, in my mind though, I'm in the camp that I like bot inside of armor. I've got it pre-ordered. I'll be taking a look at it. We do comparisons. But this is yet another bot block on X-Transbots. Because X-Transbots put theirs out and was successful, and they put this in front of like 5 other figures that they should have already delivered, in some cases, 5 years ago. Here's a meeting at Fanstoys. Should we finish the Minosaur? No. Let's do Devastator because X-Transbots is doing it. That's got to be the meeting, you know? Has to go that way. But no, why are they doing a Devastator right now? Why didn't they go up against Constructor? When Toy World is putting Constructor out, why weren't they like, oh, I could beat that. Let's do it now. No, they're not. They waited until X-Transbots started doing it. It's a petty move. And so they've just finished one combiner, but at the time they announced this, the whole community said the same thing. Let's finish one combiner before we start a third. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm surprised they don't have a Computron. Well, they'll do a Computron when X-Transbots announce a Computron. X-Transbots should just troll Fanstoys and announce like 30 things that they're working on and just see what Fanstoys does. That would be funny. But anyway, I am very pleased with what I've seen for the combine mode on the Fanstoys, and I'm loving it. I don't have a problem with it. And, 80% of my collection is Fanstoys. So 80% of the things I like the most are Fanstoys. And there's other companies out there, and I like some of the stuff that they do. But with this will probably be my combined mode version of Devastator. Before we go any further, let you have a little look at what they got going on here with their little 2.0 of Galvatron. You've probably seen the pictures 1,000 times, but here's what you guys have said that you would have rather seen a 2.0 of than this. Rather than this. Quickwave. I 100% agree. I think Takara's looks better. It's lighter weight. It doesn't have die cast. Doesn't have the paint level. It's, in my mind, the wrong color. I would have liked the toy color. They did go closer to the cartoon. But I would like to see if Fanstoys can nail the aesthetic as well as Takara did. And it's not even a matter of question. I 100% know they could. I did not like this thing when it came out. I handled it early on. A friend of mine picked one up and he said, check it out. And I was like, you pay $200 for this? He's like, yeah, I love it. And I'm like, I don't, man. It's cool, but it's not for me. And I never bought this, ever. I never bought one of these. There were a lot of cool iterations and clear and stuff, but I felt Fanstoys could have done better than this. But this is the early Fanstoys. Wouldn't you think an 03 would be more higher on the list of getting a 2.0? Fanstoys Spotter, I heard they broke the mold. The whole saying of breaking the mold is that it is so good, it broke the mold. Well, this was good. It is still, in my opinion, the best G1 cartoon accurate looking set out there. But the lack of paint and finish, and it's an early, I mean, they could do so much better now. That's just all there is to it. And with that, Spotter is definitely one. Spotter's going for $600. I can't keep it in my collection because when I get one, everybody wants to buy it for $600. So I ended up saying, hey, I like money more than the Spotter. Plus I have 2 other sets, so why not? And so with that, I don't have a Spotter anymore. I'm game for a 2.0 Spotter. Not a Galvatron. Well, we'll talk about that. Rouge. Now this is a good one because I never thought it was a great figure. I don't think she's the best one on the market. Yes, she has die-cast. I actually think MMC's is the best, but Takara's looks the most cartoon accurate to me, but MMC's is the best overall figure. Takara's the most cartoon accurate, and this thing takes third, in my opinion. And, you know, you have your own opinion, I have my opinion, but many people feel the same way. But other people feel the same way because they made her, and she didn't sell out. She went to clearance and markdowns, and finally they got rid of her. And they never put her back out because of that experience, I think. But a 2.0 of her would probably be pretty good. What did you guys say that we should make instead? Oh, Sideswipe. Okay, so Fanstoys should do a Sideswipe. They should start doing more of the Carbots. Like, why not? You know, it's not a licensing issue with Lamborghini or anything because they don't care about that. But Sideswipe's a good one. Now we know DX9's making theirs, and we're just gonna let DX9 and Bad Cube rule. If tomorrow X Transbots announced one, by the middle of next week, Fanstoys would be announcing one too. So it's just the way it is. It's how the game's played. Why do they not want to give the community what they really need? Now this one's perplexing because this is X Transbots that made Windcharger, but nobody else has really made a Masterpiece Windcharger. So this is the best Masterpiece Windcharger we have. And I'm not going to say it's horrible, but I could see us getting a better version. I mean, it's extremely dated. It's early X Transbot stuff. And I'm okay with mine on my shelf, but if Fanstoys did one with all the paint and the die-cast and all this stuff, then I would be all over it. And I'm curious, why are they not doing this? Why are they not doing more mini-bots? They excel at mini-bots. They sell well. People love them. Why not? It makes no sense. Why are they going after the Galvatron? Well, because this is an old mold, and X Transbots has milked the heck out of this mold. So why bother? They're not going to get anywhere. They're not really going to block anything from X Transbots because everybody that wanted this mold pretty much has it. Why don't they make a Megatron? I mean, MP36 is the last one that there was. Why not make a Megatron? Well, I don't know. See, I heard through the grapevine that the last 2 figures they plan to make would be Megatron and Optimus Prime. Now that was before they started playing these games with the swapping around the names. So now they kind of found the angle, and I guess they can do whatever they want. So there's no real excuse not to do a Megatron, except we did hear that X Transbots is doing an Apollyon 2.0. So when Apollyon 2.0 gets closer to production, then we can expect that Fanstoys will drop their Megatron pictures to bot block X-Transbot. Now we're getting into the segment where everybody's saying what they're waiting on, which I'm just going to put what you guys talked about, but obviously finishing up this Minosaur, finishing up with their dead end, that is definitely something that we need to get. And will this interfere with the dead end? Probably not. I don't think it will interfere with dead end. I don't think it will interfere with that, but this is on the roster, on the schedule. I'm curious, has anybody gotten a reissue of Aerial Bots? I'm very curious of that. Have those started showing up? Because I didn't order them, I didn't need them, so I don't know. So that's something I'd like to find out. Now we've got the Chrome Dome, good old Chrome Dome, and with that one, this one is Headmasters. So why didn't they lead with a Headmaster that wasn't already made? Well, this is just showing just a generalized bullying tactic. We're going to make ours, and it's going to be better than the Make toys. And, like, why? Why are you bothering with Make toys that barely is struggling to get by, putting out, like, the 15th Seeker from that worn-out Seeker mold that's already outdated? I mean, it's crazy. Why not give us the figures that we don't have for the collectors? If Fanstoys is really here for the fans, then give us the other two first so that we can have all four on the shelf and then put out the other ones. But see, this is another one of those blocking tactics. Or is it just pure arrogance? And then I didn't grab a graphic for it, but the Blitzwing, they didn't put their Blitzwing, Blitzkrieg, Blitz, whatever it's called. Is it Blitzkrieg? They've changed the name, Berserk. So I don't have a graphic for it, but I just want to say that's another one people keep talking about, that it's not here yet, but it's almost solidly promised to happen in 2025. It's like if you loan somebody money and they're like, I'll pay you next week. I'll pay you next week. I'll pay you next week. We'll get it up. It's been 7 years. All right, now for the main course, the Galatron Sovereign 2.0, and I'm trying to compare it to the best picture of the 1.0 on the left, the best picture that matches it closely. It's actually like a mirror image, I guess. From looking at this, I do not see anything about the new one that makes it look like it's worth dropping another $200 for. In fact, I don't know anybody that owns Sovereign 1.0 that says, you know what, I'd like to see them remake this because this just doesn't hit the mark. In fact, it's what's made people sell their DX9 version. It's the creme de la creme of the top best of the best. Now, some have said that they believe that this is the 1.0 with just some modifications, but I think it's all new from the ground up. All new from the ground up. There's probably nothing that's carried over from the first one to this one. Maybe the way it transforms, but we don't even know that. Now, does the new one look better? Yes. I'm going to admit that it does look better. But not $200 better or $220 better. I believe the Show Z price will be more like $175, but I don't know. I did pre-order one. $30 down at Show Z. I pre-ordered it because here's the thing. I was going to get, once I got the M, I was going to get the standard one also. So I've got the M, which is already a special one-off limited edition that came out 3 times. Limited to 3 runs. But this is going to be more of a standard version. And then I have the M, so it's kind of cool. I did get the toy version also. But I think it looks great. Where they failed the first time was the alt mode. You know, it's funny too, because Fanstoys gives us reverse mirror images of the first one. If you look at how they've done their things, their reveals, it's a reverse mirror image. I don't see from these pictures that they've improved the alt mode much. Or at all, if they've improved it. It's strange. So you can tell it goes about it a different way from the alt mode, but is it still going to be a stubby short tort thing? It doesn't look like it's going to be a proper length of a gun. Galatron's got a short tort gun there. I mean, the whole body part of it is just too short. And I think DX9's alt mode won it. And I always felt that way, but I feel the same way here. So looking at that, I don't even think the alt mode itself is a win. I think the bot mode is an improvement. So people that disagree with me on this, they say that they don't have the 1.0, that they would like to see the 2.0 come out. Why not get a fresh new mold instead of a reissue? But the thing is that that's expense for making a new mold and all the tooling and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I can see that point. Like, if you don't have one already, let's get a better one than just a reissue, and for about the same price. But I kind of feel like I understand that, and I am going to pick this one up, but I do feel like it's more of just Fanstoys being petty, and they could have just done a reissue of the first one, which is fine, and everyone's got the first one, likes it, but most people that dropped the money on the first one, maybe they recently bought the first one for $400 or $500 because they couldn't find it cheaper anywhere else, or even $300, then they're going to feel shafted. Well, I guarantee you, they are feeling shafted. So I'm just going to end it with this release schedule that they have planned for us and what's going on. We should be seeing the Marge soon, and then the next Constructicon, and then Blitzwing, Blitzkrieg, Berserk, whatever, and then Dead End, and then I don't know past that. But what do you guys think about this whole thing? And I know most of you have chimed in, but it's been a week or almost a week, and we've had time to marinate and think about it. And I'm curious where people stand now after having time to think about it, aside from the initial shock and like, WTF. But let me know in the comments, so like, subscribe, and try to hang out.